Hi, and welcome to Hooked on Guitar, the show that teaches you how to play guitar at home by playing along with me. I'm Dan Rao from Gunner Guitar Studies in Kitchener, and this is episode number 9. In tonight's show, we're going to learn some 5th string root A form bar chords, such as C, D minor 7th, and E minor, and we will learn how to incorporate them with the 6th string root bar chords that we learned in episode number 8. And we're also going to learn a little bit about power chords. And they are a versatile type of chord that is used in many types of music. Now, you may want to keep a pen or a pencil handy. At the end of tonight's show, an address will be shown where you may write in and receive a transcript in lesson form of the show that will help with any questions you may have regarding the show, and it will be a good reference for future practicing. Let's begin by tuning so that what you play at home sounds like what I'm playing here, and the low E or 6th string. And the A or 5th string. And the D or 4th string. The G or 3rd string. The B or 2nd string. And the E or 1st string. And I'd like to start out the instructional part of our show with quickly reviewing how to bar. It's the most important technique is keeping your first finger straight. And when you're squeezing your bar, you want to make sure that you're squeezing your hand like this. You want to keep that first finger as straight as possible. A lot of people, when they're squeezing with any pressure, they kind of bend their finger, and that won't work. You have to squeeze and keep that finger nice and straight, and then that will end up barring all of the strings. So if you'd like to try that at home, just get your finger right out there nice and straight, and then squeeze like that. Still having a little bit of trouble getting all the strings to sound, you might want to try using a little bit of the left hand side of your first finger there. You just kind of curve your hand out a bit so that you're using the side of your finger. That way, if it curves a little bit, there's still a fairly straight plane to cover all the strings. All right, if you can get that technique down, you shouldn't have too much trouble doing your barring. All right, now, as mentioned earlier, we're going to do A form 5th string root bar chords. Now, what these bar chords are is they are bar chords that are movable up and down the guitar neck, and they take their name from the note that you're playing on the 5th string. For instance, if I'm playing the 2nd fret on string 5, that is the note B, so this is going to be a B chord of some type. This would be B major, B minor 7th, B 7th, etc. So that is why they are called 5th string roots. And we're going to start out by learning the major chord form. So we're going to play an A major chord, and I would suggest playing it the way I am here by putting your 4th finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. That is the note C sharp. Your 3rd finger goes on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. That is the note A. And your 2nd finger goes on the 4th string 2nd fret. that is the note E, and you play all 5 strings. Whoops. All 5 strings there, and the root note is A on the 5th string, and the chord is A major. Root is A, chord is A major. You slide that up 2 frets, and please try this at home, and bar the 2nd fret. As mentioned earlier, the note that we were playing on the 2nd fret of the 5th string is the note B, so this is a B major chord. Okay. This takes a little bit of practice to get all the notes sounding. It's a little bit of a stretch. If we move that up 1 fret, the root note is now C on the 5th string 3rd fret. So we have a C root and a C major chord. Now, if you're having trouble getting this to sound, you may want to, instead of using 3 fingers here to make the major form, you might want to just lay your 3rd finger flat across the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. This is a little bit quicker way to play the chord. Okay, like try that at home. Just lay your 3rd finger flat across the 5th fret on strings 2, 3, and 4, and then your 1st finger still plays the root note C on the 5th string, and that is a C major chord. Let's move along and try the minor form now, and we will play an A minor chord, again without using our 1st finger. You're going to play the 2nd finger on the 2nd string 1st fret, the note C. Your 3rd finger is going to go to the E note, that is the 2nd fret of string 4, and on the 3rd string 2nd fret you'll put your 4th finger, and that is the note A. As an A minor chord. Again, strum 5 strings. We have the root note of A and A minor chord, and slide that chord form up 2 frets. Sorry, only 2, and then bar the 2nd fret. And we have a B minor chord now because the root note is B on the 5th string 2nd fret, and we have a minor shaped chord there. So that is B minor. You slide that up 1 more fret, and you have C minor because your root is now C on string 5 and C minor. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity and show you a new chord we haven't learned before. This is a minor 7th chord, and it is just an optional chord that you can use instead of a minor chord. For instance, you could play C minor 7th or C minor. It just gives a little jazzier kind of sound. And to play a minor 7th chord, all you do is lift your 4th finger off. Okay, so you're actually playing with just 2 of your other fingers down besides your barring finger. That is a C minor 7th. Your root is C, and the chord is minor 7th. Be sure that your 3rd string is sounding underneath your bar. That is the note that gives the chord its minor 7th tonality. That's C minor 7th. If you move back 1 fret, this would be a B minor 7th, as your root is B on the 5th string 2nd fret. B minor 7th. And I'd like to close out the A form chords by learning the 7th form. We'll play an A 7th chord by putting your 4th finger on the 2nd string 2nd fret, the note C sharp, and your 3rd finger goes to the note E on the 4th string 2nd fret. And again, play 5 strings. The root is A, and the chord is A 7th, so A root and A 7th. If you slide that up 2 frets and bar the 2nd fret, this is now a B 7th chord. Your root is B, and the chord is B 7th, and we move that up 1 more fret, and we'll have a C 7th chord, as the root is C on the 5th string 3rd fret, and C 7th. And that is how you play 5th string root bar chords in the A form. We're now going to learn the notes up and down string number 5 so that we have the full use of the neck and know all the names of the notes to use as roots for our various chords. And I've got a little exercise that I use with my students to do this, and what I have them do is just play the notes up and down the guitar neck and name the note and fret number as they go, and I'll demonstrate that. I would just have them go A open, B2, C3, D5, E7, F8, G10, and A12, and then I have them go backwards. A12, G10, F8, E7, D5, C3, B2, and A open. And let's try that once at home. We'll go a little bit slower. So that would be A open, B2, C3, D5, E7, F8, G10, and A12, and going backwards, A12, G10, F8, E7, D5, C3, B2, and A open. Now in the transcripts I've got a little exercise put together that uses all these chords that we have just learned, and it goes something like this. It starts out with a C major chord, to a D minor chord, to an E minor 7th, back to a C, back to E minor 7th, to a G 7th up at the 10th fret, and back to C major. And let's try that nice and slow at home. Starting with the C major chord in the A form, so you're going to bar the 3rd fret and put the major chord form down, and we'll strum that 4 times. And the next chord is D minor, so you're going to bar the 5th fret where D is, and put the minor chord form down. Next chord is E minor 7th, so slide that exact form up 2 frets and lift your 4th finger for a minor 7th. That is E minor 7th. And back to the C major at the 3rd fret. Back to E minor 7th at the 7th fret. To G 7th, we will bar the 10th fret where G is and put the 7th form down. And back to C at the 3rd fret. And I'm going to run through that once more at about the same speed, and try it again at home, starting with C major. 1, 2, 3, 4, to D minor at the 5th fret, E minor 7th, and C, back to E minor 7th at the 7th fret, G 7th at the 10th fret, and C major at the 3rd fret. To minimize the amount of horizontal movement and therefore eliminate string noise, we're going to combine the 5th string root bar chords that we've just learned with the 6th string root bar chords that we learned in episode number 8. And an example of that would be the song Sister Golden Hair by America. If that was played with all 6th string root chords, it would sound something like this. And there's a lot of movement and a lot of sliding, and if you combine that with an A form minor bar chord, it sounds something like this. Sounded a lot smoother, the chord progression, a lot less movement, and you can also make use of a nice common form where you're going from the minor form 5th string root to the major form 6th string root. All you do is just lift all your fingers up like that. If you play one chord, you can surely play the other. And I've put together a little exercise using some bar chords, and it's going to be played between the 2nd position and the 5th position. Okay, so that means your first finger is going to be barring either the 2nd fret, the 3rd fret, or the 5th fret in this. I'll play it through once at a regular speed, then I'll slow it down so we can try it at home. And it starts out with the G chord, to D7 in the A form, to C chord, to G, and G, A 7th, C minor 7th, and G, G, A minor, B minor, and C major, and G, D7, C, and that goes something like this. A little slower, starting with the G chord in the E form. 3, 4. Strum each chord 4 times. 2, 3. And the next chord is D7th in the A form. To the C chord in the A form, 5th string root. And back to the G chord in the E form. And 4 more G chords. To an A 7th at the 5th fret in the E form. To a C minor 7th in the A form. And back to G. G again. To an A minor. To B minor. To a C, switch to this, and back to G, to a D7th, to C, and G. And I don't know about you, but my hand's getting a little tired after all those bar chords. So let's move on to power chords. Now, as mentioned earlier, power chords are a versatile type of chord that are used in all styles of music, and they're not major or minor chords, but they can be used to replace either. And they're also used on electric guitars with distortion. They sound like that. Now, I like using power chords because they're quick to put down. Also, if I was doing a song like Back in Black by AC/DC, which is normally played on electric guitar, it would sound something like this. So the power chords are nice and quick to put down. Now, a power chord consists of 2 or 3 notes and are usually played on the lower strings, that is from string 3 to 6. And they are sometimes referred to as 5 chords. For instance, they could be called E5 or A5, and that is because they are made up of a root note and the note 5 notes above it. For instance, if we're playing a G5 power chord, it's going to have the notes G and D in it. If you start at G and count up to D, you end up with 5 notes, G, A, B, C, D. If you're playing a D5 chord, you'll have the notes D and A, which would be D, E, F, G, A. So that is why they're called 5 chords. You may have seen that in some sheet music or magazines. Now, the following is an E5 power chord in a 2-note form, and it is played by playing the open 6th string and the 5th string 2nd fret, the note B, with your first finger. And those are the only 2 strings that you play, just like that. That is an E5 power chord. Now, to make that its 3-note form, what you have to do is flatten your first finger across the 4th and 5th strings, 2nd fret, and then play the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. Like that. That is an E5 power chord in its 3-note form. Now, a word about actually strumming these power chords. As the name suggests, they're called power chords. They're usually used in rock or blues playing, and you want to throw them down fast, but you usually hit them pretty hard too, or I do. I usually strum them quite hard. So what I'm going to do is teach you a little bit about left-hand muting so that you only hear the strings you want, because when you strum harder, the chances of you hitting a string you don't want to hear are greater. So when you're barring the fourth and fifth strings with your first finger, like that, I'm also muting out the third string with my first finger. You notice that? I'm playing those three and I play that string and it doesn't sound because it's being muted out with the side of the first finger. If you'd like to try that at home, it's a good technique to be able to do. It's called left hand muting. So there's a 3-note E5 power chord with a couple of the strings muted out. Now, the following is an A5 power chord in its 2-note form, and it is played by playing the open fifth string, the note A, and the fourth string second fret with your first finger, and playing those 2 notes together. That is an A5 power chord in its 2-note form. To play the chord in its 3-note form, again, flatten your finger out, this time over top of the third and fourth strings, second fret. Okay, try that at home. You're going to be playing 3 strings. That is the A5 power chord in its 3-note form. And again, I'm muting out the strings that are lower with my first finger. You know, so I'm kind of bending that knuckle backwards a bit. It's a little awkward at first, but you don't have to worry about hitting any strings you don't want to sound. And this is a D5 power chord in its 2-note form. This is played by playing the open fourth string and the third string second fret with your first finger. That is a D5 power chord in its 2-note form. And to make the D5 a 3-note power chord, you add the third fret of the second string with your third finger. That is the note D, and you play the fourth, third, and second strings together. And I'm muting the first string with the side of my third finger, so I don't have to worry about hitting the first string when I play this chord. That is a D5 power chord in the 3-note form. And a G5 power chord is played by putting your second finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and playing 4 strings. I'm playing strings 6, 5, 4, and 3. And I'm muting the 5th string with the side of my second finger. So I'm playing 4 strings, but you only actually hear 3. And that is a G5 power chord. And I put a little progression together on the transcripts that uses those open position power chords and a couple of open strings, and it sounds something like this. That's typical of many blues and rock songs. When I play that a little faster, it'll sound something like this. Use the A5, the D5, and the E5 power chords, and I'll slow that down so you may try that at home. Starts out, you might as well start out by putting down the 3-note A5 power chord and playing the open 5th string twice, and then the A5 power chord, and play the open 5th string twice again, and the A5 power chord, then play the 3rd fret 5th string with your second finger, and play the open 4th string twice while you're putting the D5 power chord down. And repeat that, open 4th string twice, and the D5 power chord. Now we'll go to the E5 power chord, play the open 6th string twice, and the 3-note E5 power chord. 6th string twice again, and the E5 power chord. Play the 6th string 3rd fret, and then the open 5th string twice, while you're placing the A5 power chord. And I'll play that through once more at a little steadier speed. And you'd like to try that at home, it goes like this. 3, 4, A5. To D5. E5. that's it for this episode. To recap what we have done, we learned 5th string root bar chords, A-form bar chords, major, minor, 7th, and minor 7th. And we also learned a little bit about power chords. If you'd like to join me next episode, we are going to learn some advanced strumming techniques such as muted rests. And we will learn to play in a shuffle rhythm. And we will learn some 16th note strumming such as used in some bluegrass songs.